Yes, yes, of course. So
Do
we
you
have
a demo?
sorry.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Over to you, Benjamin.
Yes. So when we talk about spirit of nature, it might not be let's try to bring it to a translation somehow more understandable. Spirit of nature, I would say, we're talking about if we consider, let's see the way we could see the world in different vibrations or different frequencies. We live in a material world, in a world that has that lives on the 3D matrix, concentrated matrix material in which we live today. When we enter into altered state of reality, altered state of mind, we have the capacity to change the frequency and the vibration. So from, for instance, we are functioning on a certain frequency, and we have capacity to change the frequency to alpha or theta, different kinds of frequency with the brain. And those are opening an unseen world. And this unseen world, in this unseen world, everything has an essence, and everything that is an essence or that is alive has a different aspect and appear to us in a different aspect. So a tree then in another frequency has that capacity, is a living being, and has a living being contains an intelligence, and that intelligence, through the trance and through a different frequency of reality, we have a capacity to enter in contact and communicate. Oh, there is this interaction into what I call astral or cosmic world, with the cosmic vibration, which is also part of, who can be also related to those alpha, theta, different kinds of frequency and vibration. So we working in that moment, we have this transponder, those frequency, where our brain is working on a different different pace, and we can enter into those states, very deep meditative states, altered states of consciousness that are not only provoked by psychedelic, but it can be provoked by drumming, chanting, singing, dancing, like the dervish turners, for instance, that we had on the screen of Richard a little bit earlier, which are all shamanic trance in a way. And with plant spirit, what we do is that when we ingest psilocybin, or when we ingest the ayahuasca and the different alkaloids that it contains, we have capacity to enter into those frequencies and then interact with what I call spirit of nature. So spirit meaning essence of the human being, that connects himself into a certain frequency, and then entering in contact with the spirit of natures. So what are, how do, to answer all your question, the medium, the shaman himself trains himself for dozens of years to enter in connection and to enter into those states, into those sacred state, altered state of consciousness with entheogenic plants, and have the capacity then to interact with what I call those essence and spirit of nature. Then the medicine, those plants like ayahuasca, becomes a transponder. It's like a transponder, a translator in between the spirit world and the human world. And in between is the teaching. It is where, when you connect to those plants and those frequency, it is full of knowledge that can be only observed from an altered state of consciousness.
So it is a matter of frequency. Once we have a correct frequency, so it means that we can see the real reality, maybe another dimension that we can see in this world.
Yes.
Yes, continuing on these questions, it means also we can see demon, or maybe we can see alien or celestial being. Yeah.
So this is a very interesting part of the very interesting part of when we access different and altered state of consciousness. We can have access to different kinds of and dimensions of the mind, and the mind is made of different universes, dimension. And yes, there are dimensions. There are the archetypal dimensions of the human beings, where we can also observe different kinds of beings, and also upon the beliefs of people, and upon also the religious spectrum and religious filters in which we live. So the experience of plant spirit is not only the experience of the nature, but it's also, you can also experience the deeper realms of consciousness, also described by Jung or by other psychologists. And especially when we enter into those altered states, yes, we can enter into those mystic states where there is different conception of reality. So when we're talking about, for instance, angels and demons, yes, their angels and demons are part of it's part of the archetypal world of how we basically build a part of reality, and through different religious and different spiritual experiences, and also that from those experiences created organizations, religions, a bigger group that came all together. And there is that in altered state of consciousness, we can explore the light and the darkness of the human being and its own personal beliefs. Yes. What is reality? That's the question, you know. What is reality, and what do we consider real? The thing I can say is that what is tangible into our eyes is and what makes sense to our beings and to our senses can be perceived as real. And there is many ways to perceive that. But with the medicine, and what's it's very interesting, and I call it the medicine, we have this ultra capacity to just enter into the different realms of the human beings, and seeing, yes, having the capacity to connect to ancient beings of this planet and the matrix of creation. And it has many ways and many understandings. And if we take just by a part of the old mystic, for instance, I know that part of the people here are also studying Book of Urantia, and there is, and from my own experience, I would say, I have explored religious realms where the demons of humanity, what we call the demons of humanity, it means the entities that are basically composing humanity, the dual entities, the angels and the demons of our consciousness, the light and darkness of consciousness appear as archetypal beings. Yes. now you're talking about aliens. That would be like another topic, that we could have like a few, I think, Gladiator Bangsa about this topic, and bring many specialists about that. But okay, I can say like this, in my experience, eventually at one point, when we go to higher frequencies and higher vibration, we understand that we're not the only species on this universe, and that there is like many different races, and that we have capacity also to connect with them within the realms of psychedelic. Because when we have those experiences and we open like higher frequencies in our brain, we have the capacity, like we're receptors, channels, and in those channels we have capacity to connect to very ancient beings. I call them cosmic ancestors or other civilization that are upon our head, and also working for the paradigm of this, for a different paradigm, a new shift to happen into our world. Yes.
Yes, when we meet with them or we communicate with them, can we feel them? Means that is it like if we human and human interaction, we can feel and we can hug them, or maybe in just our mind?
So it is difficult to describe what is a shamanic trance, because a shamanic trance, it is not something that is just happening in our mind. It is happening in all our senses. So when we enter the shamanic trance, or when we enter those different, those altered state of consciousness, okay, I was saying, what is reality? Reality is determined by your senses, basically. Your five senses determines the reality. It's you capped through this. You capped and can analyze reality through those senses. When you are in a shamanic trance, those senses are altered at the same time that the mind is altered. It's not only like a mind that is altered, it's like the entire system is altered. And we, in certain state, I would say that when we communicate with when the shamans, and this is ancient shamans, not only from the Amazon but from all over the world, they've been communicating. And when you talk to elders of the shamans, they say that they've been always communicating with their brothers from the stars, how they call it, their ancestors and brother from the stars. So when they when we enter into those states, and I have experienced it myself many times, we have capacity to almost physically communicate with those beings. Yes.
So what is written in Urantia book, most of that are true, right?
There's many of those books have solid basis, regarding the realms of existence, and the only thing is that we perceive just 1% of this reality. And and again, I'm very gentle when I say 1%, because it's difficultly measurable. But this universe is unseen. Mainly the universe is unseen. We see just a little part of it, and we are. If we take the global mass information that we have, and the mass media are just maintaining the illusion of reality in which we live. All ancient mystics have described this world as a part of the illusion. The cosmic game in which we live give us the possibility to experience humanity here. For us as shamans and teachers of psychedelic plant and plant master spirit, we at one point encounter a different part of reality, and we understand that there is not just one level of density in which we live, but there is like different dimensions, densities, where you can access different database of information.